The root from which the ego arises is I. This makes things really confusing because our true self is also present in our experience as I, which is why in today's video, we will discuss how to properly discern between the ego, which is the I thought, and our true self, which is the I sense or sense of being. Understanding this very clearly will help you, one, silence the mind and go deeper in your meditations. Number two, realize your true self on a more and more experiential level. And number three, grow more established in inner peace. First, we will be doing an explanation on this, and then we will meditate together to truly experience this. Let's do it. So, illusion is present at all times. It is present here and now as idea, concept. When I say the word I, if you think body, if you think mind, if you think face, if you think name, if you think story, that right there is ego. Ego is the feeling that I am this mind and body. Ego is the feeling that I am the doer of this experience. The way illusion persists and maintains itself is through constant association with objects. That is why Ramana Maharshi taught that when you isolate your eye sense, which we'll talk about in a second, this constant association with objects, desires, fears, more ideas about world, self, right, wrong, good, bad, associations with the body's activities, titles, roles, responsibilities, relationships, possessions, health, all these start to dissipate. Meditation is learning how to be without association with all of these things, which reinforce self-image. So that is why we are restlessly thinking constantly. That thinking is serving its purpose to constantly recreate, reinforce self-image, ego, illusion. Endless psychological thinking about past, future, desires, fears, even about the spiritual journey, projecting a future about it. All that is doing is only reinforcing the ego, illusion. By constantly associating with ideas, ego nourishes itself. And when the teaching is heard, it gets triggered because it finds thinking harmless. It plays many roles. It will conveniently change its mask. During the day, when you get really so tired of thinking and you find so much suffering in your thinking, the ego is like, oh, I want to be free of thinking and I want to be free of this. I'm suffering. I want peace. But then when the teaching comes, then the ego changes its mask and it fights for the legitimacy and reality of thinking, for the legitimacy of my future, my desires, my past. Because if in the absence of desire, fear, we can just say in the absence of concept, ego is not. So this constant association with concept, with objects of experience, this constant psychological chatter is what reinforces this self-image, which is why thinking has to be abandoned. In the spiritual pursuit of self-knowledge, thinking has no role to play. And whatever role you think it has to play and whatever is fighting for the legitimacy and reality of thinking is just thought, which is being believed in on behalf of self image, only reinforcing ego. So you can play around with that as long as you'd like to. But when you're sick and tired of it, it has to be abandoned. So ego in illusion is always present as I, but that I is just our idea of ourself. It is an image of the body. It is an image of the person I think I am. It is a story about who I am, what I like and don't like, what I want to happen and what I don't want to happen. That right there is ego. That's how it is present in every experience. Now, truth is also present as I. And this is in the beginning of the self-inquiry journey, this is why it is very important that you try to discern your sense of I. Sense of I or feeling of I is very different than the idea of I. The idea of I is a thought. The feeling of I is presence, now, sense of being. Ego is present in you right now in the form of a thought. I am sitting here and listening to these words. Truth is present in you right now as the feeling of existence. Not being here or there. There's no concept here or there in truth. It's just being. Hence, all the teachings of spirituality saying, hey, be present, meditate. It is a direct escape from concept. So, ego is always present as an idea, as thought, as concept, image of self, which, by the way, is just image of body. Or, sorry, on the other hand, truth is present as presence itself. Your sense I, feeling of being. Please feel into these things, sense these things. If you keep indulging yourself in thinking about feeling of self, indulging yourself in thinking about the sense of I, ego prevails, illusion prevails. This is not to be understood or thought about. I am sitting here listening. You are over there on that side of the world. I am sitting or standing or speaking. These are ideas, appearances, illusion. I am That right there is hint of truth. Put nothing after I am. It need not be proclaimed in the form of words. Even before the words arise to say I am, but even before the thought arises to say verbally, I am. Truth is present here and now as feeling of I. Feel that, sense that, bring your attention to that. Ego is always present in the form of the thought, I am here, I am there, I am doing this, I am doing that, I want this, I don't want that, I think this is right, I don't think that is right. That is the functioning of ego. If we desire spiritual growth, you have to stop feeding those ideas with belief and interest. There's no other way. You have to stop dwelling in those self narratives about you and your life. There's no other way. Let's pause for a moment. Now that you have an explanation on how to discern between the ego and the true self, now let's meditate together on this so that we can truly experience this. Also, if you're enjoying this, join our free community. There you can connect with other seekers just like you who are practicing this. And it's also where you can access my self inquiry mini course, my self inquiry guide, and my self inquiry breakthrough class. Make sure to do that after the meditation. So now close your eyes, sit back, relax, and allow the words to guide you into this. So truth is present in every single experience. It never sleeps. Just like the ego is always very persistent, the self, the truth, is even more persistent. It is ever present as the feeling I. as being, existence, now, moment, aliveness, realness, consciousness. You feel into any of these words, and the ego is absent in that moment. That is the simple art of meditation. Sacrifice story for presence, sacrifice self narration for being. How much you are able to do this or not, how good you think you are at this or not, how long you think it will take you to get better at this and get somewhere with it. All of these are also just ideas reinforcing illusion. You can play around with it however long it takes you to realize that it is useless and only creates suffering. When you are ready, you can let go of all those narratives and just be. The truth that the ego wants to attain in the future, the self it wants to realize in the future, is present as now. It is present now as presence. I. We can keep being addicted to the idea of the self I wish to realize in the future, or we can rest and be as the self now. I am thinking, I am sitting, I am listening. All these are self image, ego, illusion. I am. That alone is true. That alone is fact. To grow in self knowledge, stick with facts, stick with the true, and let go of dwelling in the false. Hearing is coming and going, speaking is coming and going, thinking is coming and going. I am is always I am. It is only our obsession with what comes and goes, our interest and belief in what comes and goes, that makes I am appear to be missing. It is what makes I am appear to be something that has to be maintained or grasped and kept. How can you keep something that does not come and go? How can you maintain something which is ever present? The very idea of maintenance is ego at play. Let it die in I am. Let all of your questions, doubts, confusions, desires, beliefs dissolve in I am. You can either keep thinking about what is being said. You can keep thinking, I am, I am, I am. All it will do is only reinforce illusion, ego. Or you can just be. Just notice your existence, the feeling of self, I. With no notion of what's to come, what's next, how to maintain, what to do. For if you are genuinely feeling the sense of self, being, I am, none of those notions will be operating. Sacrifice all notions of progress, journey, want, hope, right, wrong. Let it all subside in I am. This is the way of the wise, not relevant for everyone, but you are the wise. Otherwise, this message would not arise in your experience. Know all of your ideas, your beliefs, your desires, your cares, your worries, even your aspiration for self realization. Know it all to be superficial only. These are waves on the surface. At your core, be absolutely desireless, fearless, carefree, and just be. There's nothing more to do. The whole notion of doing itself comes to an end in being. This is the way of the wise. Have no need that others accept or understand you. They will not. Have no need that others, even your parents or partners or children, have no need that they may follow this or must follow this or know about it. Preach this to no one who does not ask for it. Outwardly, you are the human being that is walking this earth. Inwardly, you are nothing. You are nobody. Grow silently. Use the world to go beyond the world. Be in the world, but die to the world completely. Nothing here lasts. Everything you accumulate will come to an end, including the body that is accumulating. All the wealth and well being inside of the dream is also of the nature of dream, aka illusion. It is only of superficial importance. If that is your main priority, meditation will be very difficult. Luckily, these types of messages and your personal experiences and the suffering that comes through them starts to make this clear to us. Nobody can do this for us. The call has come from within. We must turn within and let life take care of it. Let God, self, take care of it. With no notions of progress and future, maintain this practice, this non practice practice of being. You can feel free to open your eyes. I hope you found that helpful. As I said earlier, make sure to join our free community. And if you are looking for more help and you want to embark on a 10-week self inquiry journey to dissolve mind identification and awaken to your true nature more deeply, check out our self inquiry school. I'll link both things down below. Thank you for watching today. I'll see you next time.